Welcome to Embracing the Spectrum, where we share stories of hope and resilience.
Embracing the spectrum. What is your preferred name for sharing your story?
My name is Noreen. People also know me as Nosh, that is my close circle. And 15 years ago, I was blessed to be a mom of Dylan. So I've been called Mama Dylan for the last, I was called Mama Dylan for 10 years until Kigoma Kwame came along. Kigoma is now 5 years old and is on the spectrum. And right now people also call me Mama KK. So you pick, you can call me any of those.
How did you first realize something was different about your child?
In 2020, I gave birth to a healthy bouncing baby boy, Kigoma Kwame, who weighed 3.5 kg. So he was okay and he developed well, and would call them COVID babies because immediately after there was the COVID outbreak and we had to move up country just to be away from all these COVID shenanigans that were happening in Nairobi. So this went on. We were home for 6 months where he developed quite well. He was able to enjoy all the fun of being in shags and everyone taking care of him and spoiling him. And I happened to have a great time with family, especially my mom and my dad and all the nannies and my older son Dylan. So up until we came back to Nairobi after the inter-county borders were opened, and we had to continue with our lives. So KK started experiencing seizures, which we didn't know were seizures because he would just bend forward and like he looked like he was in pain or having a tummy ache. So for me, I thought probably since I'd started weaning him at 6 months, that would be a tummy issue. So we went to the hospital where he was treated for bacterial infection and viral infection, but it didn't seem to subside. Actually, it got worse. And the episodes of bending forward became more and more, and in longer sessions, I would call them clusters. So the more they went on, the more we continued losing sleep, and I could see him being the old shadow of himself. And we had to go back to the doctor on several occasions up until I started recording videos when those episodes came. And thanks to my mom, she's the one who saw that they were not really tummy aches, but actually when Kigoma was bending forward, or let's call him KK, he would have stiffen, like his hands and legs would stiffen together with his back. So I was asked to share that video with the pediatrician, and that's when he noticed there was something amiss, and I was sent for an EEG. By then, KK had lost his milestones. Like he had learned how to sit, so he lost his ability to sit. He started drooling and he would just stare into space. He had no neck control. And all those milestones that you know that a 6 months usually has. His old bubbly self had disappeared. He stopped being playful. He stopped repeating and cooing, and he was just quiet. So we went for the EEG, and as we were looking at the EEG, we would see there was something amiss, despite not knowing what the normal EEG should look like. And the way the specialist was reading, we would tell there was something amiss. So he gave us a sealed envelope to take back to the doctor. But who is Noreen? I opened the envelope and I saw the 2 big words: infantile spasms. So Dr. Google, of course. I checked on Google and I saw that infantile spasms was a rare type of seizure that is most often misdiagnosed, and it leads to fatalities. So it got me scared, but courageously we went back to the doctor, who read the results and told us from now henceforth our journey would begin with the neurologists. So don't want to go into details about the neurologist, but eventually we got a very good one at Aga Khan Hospital, and with a concoction of medication, he was able to stop seizing. Like the seizures disappeared, and we were okay, apart from the daily medication, which were quite heavy. And now to the autism. Throughout his medication and his journey from the time he was 6 months moving forward, he was very busy. He was very active. Comparing to my older son, this one was more active. And the moment he regained his milestones through intensive occupational therapy, would see he was getting busier and busier. He could not sit still. He was moving up and down, and nights were even worse. He never seemed to get tired. Even in his baby coat, in the pitch dark, you just hear him like breathing. He's busy trying to climb out, falling back, and he would go on, and then sleep for short hours, then continue playing. So I was equally losing sleep and getting frustrated. So I knew there was something, but I kept on relating it to the infantile spasms. So I got into reading. I went on to read so much about infantile spasms, and one of the outcomes that was very significant was autism. So that is one of the things I kept looking at as my son grew, because I knew one of the outcomes of infantile spasms would be autism, but not necessarily. So with the hyperactivity, I kept pushing his doctor, his neurologist, pediatric neurologist, for an assessment.
At what age was your child diagnosed, and what was that experience like?
With my continuous suspicion, I kept pushing his neurologist for an assessment. At that time, he was only 2 years, 8 months, when I could not wait any longer, and I actually demanded for an assessment. So his pediatrician sent us to a developmental pediatrician, still in Aga Khan, and we booked an appointment, and we were able to do an assessment called ADOS. So he was diagnosed to be of level 2 on the autism spectrum.
How did you feel when you received the diagnosis?
So after diagnosis, I went through a lot of emotions. I was really, really sad, because inwardly I was actually hoping that things would be okay. I was hoping that probably I'm the one overthinking. So when the doctor confirmed that he indeed is on the level 2 of the autism spectrum, I was sad for a while. But since I had always suspected, my journey of acceptance, I would say, was a little easier compared to other parents that I have met and those who have shared their stories.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face as an autism mom?
So one of the challenges I faced as an autism mom was the uncertainty that comes with a diagnosis. I really didn't know where to begin. There was a lot of questions that were going through my head. I knew I needed to make a lot of adjustments in my daily living. I knew that on top of the expensive medication that he was taking, it will still be more expensive. I knew that this journey of occupational therapy is not likely to stop anytime soon, despite him having met other physical milestones. I knew that he needed to be in a special environment, a special school probably, or integrated. I had not even decided where I want him to be. And basically it was uncertain. And I knew that I had to take one day at a time, because nobody ever knows what the future holds. And the fact that kids on the spectrum are very different from each other, I really didn't know who I would compare my life with, or which manual that I would read towards starting this journey.
How do you navigate daily routines, therapies, and schooling?
So after searching and reading widely for schools around me, first of all, I had to consider to get a school that was very close to him or to home. And then I was lucky to find a very good school, a very, very good school that he goes to up to date. And through the school, they helped me navigate through his daily routine. And I realized that most of the things that we used to do during occupational therapy are still covered in school. So I stopped the occupational therapy that I used to go to at Mbagathi, and he went into full-time schooling where he goes at 7 and leaves at around noon. Autism spectrum disorder children or kids, they thrive well in routines. So through the school, I was able to determine a very good routine for KK. So it has made our life easier because he's able to predict what will happen next, and we rarely have issues in running our daily lives.
Have you faced judgment or lack of understanding from others? If so, how do you handle it?
Of course, that's a common thing, facing a lot of judgment from the public. The good thing is that since my close circle or family were journeying with me throughout these challenges, they were the first people to know that KK is on the autism spectrum. And they are quite supportive. So around family, it has been quite easy. They've taken time to understand what he needs. And also if they're planning anything, they have considered him. But now the public, going to public places was a challenge. Even going to hotels, when your child cannot sit still, when a child does not know boundaries, you could be waiting for your food, then somebody else's plate of fries comes, and before you know it, he has jumped to that table and is grabbing the food, and you have to make 1,001 apologies. And even in church, when your child cannot sit still, they're up and down, stepping on the other ones, making noise, you're making trips in and out of church. So what I've done is that I've decided to become oblivious of what is happening and all the stares. You actually become immune over time and you sail through. So for me, it's not really a big challenge presently.
How has your parenting style changed since your child's diagnosis?
My parenting style has changed very much. I gave birth to my oldest son when I was quite young, so it was all experimental, a few mistakes here and there. But when you're raising a normal child, you sail through, and you have a lot of people supporting you, relatives and siblings. Now with Kigoma came when I'm much older, more experienced and more intentional. And with his diagnosis, there's a lot of patience, lots of patience and understanding when it comes to raising Kigoma. And as a parent, I have learned not to have very high expectations, but rather take one day at a time and handle each challenge as it comes.
What are some of the biggest wins or breakthroughs you've experienced with your child?
I've experienced a lot of wins and breakthroughs since his diagnosis. They take much long to attain their milestones, but I have seen progress through occupational therapy and school. He's been able to gain a lot of milestones. He could not sit still, even for 5 minutes. He would be distracted by every little thing. So currently he can be able to sit and complete a task. He can be able to sit at one place without creating chaos, and that is a very big win for me. We've been also able to handle his meltdowns through a predictable routine, through early preparation, through talking to him prior to even going to a place. It has helped us to manage tantrums and meltdowns. Arriving early in a venue and making him comfortable before the crowd comes, and just knowing that what triggers him has enabled us to get through days that initially seemed very difficult.
How has your child surprised you in positive ways?
After diagnosis, you have a lot of doubts in your mind about him ever being able to attain something or understand anything, even in class. But with hope, you begin the journey of school. And him just arranging numbers from 1 to 20, it just caught me by surprise. Doing A to Z, arranging and so keenly, no matter how much the teachers would try and confuse him, and he's still able to arrange A to Z. Like, it might seem a small thing, but to me, that is truly elating. I am so excited about him, and it gives me so much hope that eventually he'll know how to write.
Who or what has been your biggest source of support on this journey?
Wow, my biggest source of support. Of course, I've been looking up on God for all the support I need through this journey, and God has never failed me. Secondly, my family. Oh, I just do not know where to begin. When I talk about family, it gets really emotional because they have walked with me throughout the journey. From my sisters to my parents and my extended family. They have been amazing. The adjustments that they have had to make to accommodate KK goes beyond love. It is just, they know what to do, they know what he needs. They even choose a venue for a function with him in mind. Like, will he be comfortable? They know what he needs in terms of diet, and they've equally supported me financially, which is one of the major things that parents of special needs children go through. They go through a lot of financial difficulties, and I am no exception. And at times when you feel you're low on cash and they're able to predict without you having to ask, and they're sending you here and there, as much as you seem to be handling a lot of issues on your own, but them just knowing that this little extra will go and buy fruits, this little extra will go towards his medication and every other thing. So family has played a really great role. And then now coming to his teachers, of course his occupational therapy, the one he started with and at the hospital, then with the teachers. The teachers are amazing. They are amazing. We get continuous updates, like daily updates of what happens in school, and I'm so thankful for them. And also, I belong to various support groups, so many. They exist out there to just walk with mothers in this journey of autism, and it is a safe space. They create safe spaces for people to just rant, for people to vent, and for people to cast doubts, people to just check and compare specialists, seek advice when they're going through a crisis, seek opinions in terms of things like where to take children for therapy, where to buy supplements at cheaper rates, and any other guidance that they require.
Are there any therapies, tools, or strategies that have helped your child the most?
Occupational therapy has been a major tool that has helped KK go through his journey. Yeah, because the fact that he could not concentrate and finish a task, occupational therapy did that for him. It has improved his concentration. School has really helped, even with his relation to others, how he expresses himself. He's able to self-regulate. He's more disciplined. I'm even seeing a cheeky 5-year-old boy rather than a kid on the spectrum. Other interventions were speech therapy. They do a lot of music in school. They do a lot of physical activities in school. There's a physical education teacher that comes also to take them through sessions. And then there's lots of swimming on a weekly basis that has also helped him. They do a lot of life skills like cookery, putting on and removing clothes, and brushing teeth. And then they have monthly field trips, either to the play areas or to the farms.
If you could give one piece of advice to a newly diagnosed autism mom, what will it be?
Is that all will be well. Your child is a gift from God, and you need to do the best that you can for this child, to offer the best. So seek support from various sources, of course from God and from the community around you, starting with family, and get as much information from professionals to help you journey through. Do not compare with your other children if you have any, or to your neighbors or your friend's child, because your child is unique. And do as much as you can in terms of intervention to ensure that your child reaches their milestones. One thing is that you cannot dwell on denial for a long time, because immediately after the diagnosis, you need to start early intervention. So early intervention is key to ensuring that your child meets their milestones. So consult as much as you can from professionals, and start the journey of early intervention through occupational therapy and other things that you will be advised to do. Try and keep the costs to a minimal, because autism is a lifelong journey, and as much as you might have so much in terms of financial resources, you will need to plan on it for a very long period of time.
How has being an autism mom changed you as a person?
Of course, it has changed me so much. You do not know the meaning of unconditional love until you're an autism mom, because you're giving so much love to somebody who probably could not be fully understanding or comprehending the efforts you're putting towards their improvement. Yeah, so it takes a lot of unconditional love. It takes a lot of patience and understanding. So my limits have been pushed, and I have been tested to the core, especially during meltdowns. So I can say I've become a hardcore in terms of parenting, and I've become immune to stares out there, to prejudice, to judgment. And I think it has made me a better mom. I've become more empathetic to people around me, and I tend not to blame people's behaviors, including adults who probably react in a certain way. I have learned to practice empathy to understand that people are going through a lot of things, and the best thing you can do is be kind. Be kind.
What misconceptions about autism do you wish more people understood?
That autism is a disease. Autism is not a disease. It is a neurological disorder. Another thing is that autism is a curse. Sadly, that's one thing I was told when I was looking for a school, and I took my son to a daycare, and the owner of the daycare said that my son needs exorcism. There's a pastor she wants to hook me up with to pray for my child. Of course, we do pray for my child, but we don't believe it is a bad spirit. We don't believe it's they call it pepper. Yes, I still would take you back that it is a neurological disorder that has no particular cause. People are still researching on what causes autism. Yeah, self-blame will only bring depression and sadness to your life. So autism, like we say, there's no known cause. So don't take it that it was your fault that your child got autism.
How do you practice self-care and maintain your mental well-being?
I do a couple of things to cope as a mom. So getting a good support system is a good way to cope, so that when your child becomes overwhelming, you can always delegate. There's a place I went and I had a therapist talking, and they spoke about the art of letting go and detaching yourself. You feel like you're the answer to all the problems your child on the spectrum has, but you're not. It will just lead to a lot of burnout. Learn to let go, even for a few hours. Even though you know that they're going to give the people around you a hard time, you also need some time to decompress and to rest. So I've learned to let go. Every once in a while, I let them go up country with the nanny and the relatives and the cousins, so that I can have some me time. On day-to-day life, once in a while I go out with friends, similar moms in similar shoes, and we just have a good time away from the children. I do a lot of dancing and exercising as a way of coping and self-care. Of course, personal grooming and making myself look good gives me a lot of confidence, because at times people would assume that, or at times if you let it happen, they can take most of your time, that you do not have time to take care of your hair, take care of your nails, to take care of your face. So I create time to take care of me, and going to church, going for things that just make me happy, like hiking, visiting the museum and art galleries, and also celebrating when I'm called for functions. I've learned not to use him as an excuse, but rather go to meet friends. At times, even when I don't feel like, because friends would tend to lift up your spirits.
What would you like the world to know about your child?
KK is unique. KK is loving. Yeah, when he loves too much. KK is full of joy. Yeah, I've come to understand him very much, so that I know his triggers main one would be hunger. So when he's well fed, he is really a bubbly and curious young boy. So, and I love him very much. There's so much to say about him, but I know he is gifted and his future is bright.
What words of encouragement do you have for other autism parents?
So to autism parents, you need to live on hope. Hope that things are always going to be okay. When you have hope, you have the urge to keep trying. You have the urge to try various interventions to ensure that your child gets better and sails through life. So keep hoping, keep engaging, keep seeking support, and always be ready to create awareness of the people around you, because at times the people around you behave the way they behave because they are ignorant, they are not aware. So when you create awareness to the people around you, it makes your life quite easy. Thank you so much for staying with me and listening to my story till the end. Do you have a story that you'd like to share to the world and offer hope and encouragement to parents of children on the autism spectrum? Feel free to reach us on the email below, and we'll see how we'll get to you and get you to share your story. Thanks once again, and have a lovely time. Embracing the spectrum.